Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is CryptoTakeOver coming back with another video for you today. Go ahead and punch those like buttons, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, leave your comment down below. Alright, we're doing something a little bit different today. So I do want to record a video about some cold storage wallets and options that y'all have out there actually. So today I'm going to be going over a little bit of the look at a Ledger Nano S and X and also the Trezor wallet. So I'll kind of give you my review on them for the most part, just so that way y'all can take the knowledge later on and decide which one y'all want to get. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start off with the first one that I actually purchased myself. Comment down below, let me know if y'all already have one or not, or if y'all even like to do cold storage. I mean, mostly the channel is kind of focused on trading and whatnot, but at the same time, for a while there, I was pretty much just a long-term hodler, and then kind of went down the trading path and learned my lessons and but also paid for the education pretty much, and that's how we have to kind of look at these markets as well, is that they're a learning curve with a lot of things. And also some of the even wisdom that I have gained from trading is that, well, if you're not taking profits at all, then someone else is, right? And someone else is taking your profits from you, and we've pretty much been in a downwards trend ever since 20K pretty much, and we jump back up to 14K. But I'm not really going to get into the technicals right now or TA about it or whatever, but obviously we're in a downwards trend right now, so it is smart to take profits and to know when to take profits as well. And I believe that that's why we've been giving the application of learning how to trade right now. So do your due diligence before you decide to make any investment in crypto, or if you decide to start trading as well. Again, this is not financial advice. You do what you choose to do. But today I do want to go over our 3 hardware wallets that we have here. So as you can see here, we have our Trezor wallet, which was actually one of the first wallets that I started off with, was the Trezor wallet. And then I ended up getting a Nano S as a hardware wallet. These were the main ones that were pushed out at the time as well when we were first starting our journey into crypto. There's a lot of hardware wallets out there now, and then obviously I have the Ledger Nano X here as well, which is another wallet that you can get. The Ledger Nano X actually only connects to your phone, so you don't even hook it up to the computer or PC. The Ledger Nano S is the one that you hook up to the PC, and I'll show y'all here. But as you can see, this one has the USB port on it, the Ledger Nano S. But then on our, let me situate everything. But then on our X here, we only have the screen, and there is no, it's only the charging port. So this is the charging port actually, and it does come with the charger as well. So Type C charger, and this I think is a Type A, if I'm not mistaken, USB port. And then also on our Trezor, we have our Type A USB port to plug it up to the computer. So it's interesting how a lot of these work. It's really kind of up to the consumer to decide what they feel is suitable for their needs. And so I'll kind of give you my review on a lot of them and how I feel about these. But we'll start off with the Trezor. The Trezor was my first buy, and was storing my crypto on there for a while. But also, it's kind of one of those that it actually, it was pretty easy to get set up. The only thing that's concerning about the Trezor, and I know that there was kind of an issue with some hardware hacks, but the person had to actually have a hold of the actual device, and they couldn't necessarily spoof or packet sniff or anything like that. But the thing is that when using the Trezor, you use it through a web browser, so you don't download any applications. You use it straight through a web browser, which is a little bit kind of nerve-wracking in a sense, but I understand the logic behind it, that you just don't want to download any software that could be compromised or whatever. But then I'll show you what you get inside of the Trezor as well. So inside of our Trezor box, we have a password. We have actually 2 password recovery pamphlets here. So you have your password recovery seed pamphlets there, and then you also get a couple of stickers, the Trezor stickers, which I have not put on anything, but I think now that I'm looking at these, I do want to add them to my water bottle. I take my water bottle around with me everywhere. It's like the half-gallon water bottle, but I'm looking at these, I'm like, oh man, like I should totally throw these on my water bottle. It's kind of interesting. It's actually, that's a good way to get conversations started with people as well. There's a lot of people that see my water bottle and they're like, oh, you practice yoga here or something like that, or you do this and that, and I'm like, oh yeah, like, and I drink like this coffee or whatever. But yeah, so that might be my next way to kind of get the people to notice certain things too. But as you can see here, I have my seed phrase, but I also have it laminated as well, and you get 2 of those, but you have to do your own lamination, obviously, right? And then on top of that, you definitely want to keep these in a safe place as well. Whether you don't really want to take these around with you everywhere, right? You really only want to have access to your crypto if you really need it, And so if you decide to keep it in a safe or something like that, so you also get this Trezor sticker too. But yeah, y'all, these are designed. They're not. They're not theft proof, right? But at the same time, if someone does have your, let's say someone wants to take the USB ledger, right? Then you really wouldn't have to be too concerned, because they would need to know your password. So you put like a PIN password on these, and they would need to know that PIN password. But then also they would have to. There's also another verification, especially with the Trezor on the actual website too. So it's like a 2-factor verification that happens with the Trezor. So when you log into Trezor.io, there's another verification that you also have to enter to access the device, which is it's also something that you set up in the beginning as well. So the only reason I use my Trezor every once in a while, but I kind of gear towards the Ledger Nano S. And I mean, there's differences, like we'll start to get into some of the pros and cons on them. The only really con I have about the Trezor is that you do access it through a web browser. So let's say you pretty much have to be connected to the internet kind of to access it. And I think even with the Ledger S, you might have to also. But the fact that if you were to open up Chrome or something like that, you'd have to access it through Chrome. I think you can do it through the Brave browser now too. You can access the Trezor website and get everything installed that way as well. There is an application that you download with the Trezor to access your device. So that's another security thing too. But also, okay, so let's move over to our Ledger Nano S. This is our S here. This is kind of like my go-to one for the most part. It's just you don't want to have to pull money off of things, easily, because then it just makes it too accessible. And really, these are meant for hodlers, right? I always tell people to hold a hodl stash, and that will just prevent you from throwing it onto an exchange and you decide to take a risk and gamble it or whatever, right? So you really just want to make sure that you have your risk reward set up beforehand if you do decide to trade, but then also know that you need to have a hodl stash, right? You need to have a you know, something away that you're not going to touch. And that's pretty much what these are for, because they should be a little bit harder to access sometimes, you know, because then it's like, oh, I got to go through this whole process, so these are for people that are going to, you know, hang on to their crypto for years on out, right? And that's really what it's meant for. So the Ledger Nano S, with both ledgers, you download Ledger Live, which is a software that you install on your Windows or Mac. And then when you download Ledger Live, you're then able to set up your Ledger Nano S. And it's a pretty simple setup for the most part. Nothing's too crazy, I don't think. I mean, there's tutorials out there on YouTube that y'all can look up as well. But I'll show you what you get with the Ledger Nano S here. So as you can see, getting started, we have our one recovery sheet seed phrase, and then we have a few more seed phrase. This is just getting started, and it tells you to visit the website to get started. And then these are some more blank seed phrases. So you get 2 more copies of those too that you can store your seed phrases on as well. And I've seen people that have like these ingrained seed phrase things too, which look, you know, pretty cool, especially like, you know, if your safe isn't like fireproof or anything like that, then you might want to consider that as well. You know, to keep something like written in stone for the most part. But this is the box that it comes in here. It's nice and padded and everything too. The Trezor one was like not a lot of like cushion in there at all, you know, for it necessarily, but this one has some nice cushioning in there for it. Nicely done. And the more popular ones of these are obviously the ledgers, but you know, you can essentially just get either one if you like. They're both a pretty reputable brand. I would feel more concerned about getting a hardware wallet that is like newer to the market, you know, and that hasn't had like the dummy proof you know, done to it, or the foolproof and the hack proof parts done to it just yet. So that's my only concern with, you know, getting newer hardware and cold storage devices that people haven't really tested out necessarily just yet, you know. So with that being said, this one, so the thing is with the ledgers, there's a lot of updates that have to happen. I think I've only updated this one maybe like 2 or 3 times in the past like year maybe, or past like year and a half maybe. Man, these, every time I plug them in, or every time that like I want to use one, I feel like there's always an update. And it kind of sucks, because then the update takes like 3 to 4 hours. You know, not that long actually. You know, the update probably takes a good like, you know, hour or so to update, to run through all the steps that tell you on the screen. But the thing is that like why do I need to update it so many times, right? And that's where the Ledger Nano X comes in, because I think they program something with the X that basically only says, okay, we only need to update this every once in a while, but also at the same time, we're not going to give it all the same updates that we give the S. So the S is their, I think, primary one that pretty much every time I log in, it says, oh, we need to update your S because we're adding this feature, this feature, this feature. And then I won't see those same features roll around on the X until maybe like a month later. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, you can update your X now or whatever. And sometimes they're not even the same features. So I think with like ERC20 tokens, they added ERC20 tokens like way later on the X, because with Ledger Nano S, in order to access ERC20 tokens, you have to use a separate software like MyCrypto or the MetaMask, or man, I can't even remember the names. I don't really own that many ERC20 tokens, to be honest. Like, I only have like main ones that have released on mainnet right now, you know, and so I don't really have to deal with all the ERC20 crap that comes with it. But if you are using ERC20 tokens, or if you're hodling ERC20 tokens, I would recommend using MyCrypto. It links right up to the Ledger Nano S as well, and it's just an easy way to get started with ERC20 tokens. So But then with the X, the one that just accessed straight from the phone, you download the Ledger Live app on your smartphone, and then from there you can access pretty much all the same things. The cool thing about the X is that you don't have to. So with the S, you have to uninstall and reinstall platforms daily on here. So they call them apps, but it's just how the coin's hardware is stored in the app. So there's an app for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Nano, Tron. There's a bunch of different apps, right? And so with each app, I think the S can only fit maybe a max of like 4 apps on there. So you're constantly uninstalling, reinstalling apps. And that's another thing I didn't even get to talk about with the Trezor is like the Trezor is very limited to the number of coins it can store as well. I guess that should probably be like the main factor, right? The Trezor is very limited. You want to do your research on what can be stored on all these hardware wallets beforehand too, because if your coin is not mentioned on there, you're probably gonna have to wait for some updates, to be honest. And I think one of the ones that I was kind of interested in was that Digibyte got added onto Trezor. Digibyte's also on Ledger, but those took a while to get added onto there later. But the fact is that you can only have 5 apps installed on here, and then you start having to uninstall apps, reinstall apps, and it just becomes pretty time consuming, to be honest. And Bitcoin app not being updated, so then you have to uninstall Bitcoin app and then reinstall Bitcoin. Okay, well, in order for another coin to work, like Ethereum Classic or something, you have to have both Ethereum installed and Bitcoin installed app on there. So not as user friendly as we'd want it to be, right? And that's why we're still in the early stages of this crypto stuff too. And it is a learning curve. So I hope y'all are enjoying the journey and we can all learn from each other and grow together. And then with the Trezor, you don't uninstall or install any apps on the Trezor. Everything is through the web browser itself. So it just has the list of tokens that you can store through the web browser, and there's no uninstalling, reinstalling any of the apps. But with Ledger S, you do have to uninstall, reinstall. And so with Ledger Nano X, I think I've only updated the Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet maybe like once or twice, but the Ledger Nano X can actually store, I think, up to 100 apps maybe on here. So there's no this uninstalling because there's not enough room like the Ledger Nano S, which is pretty convenient. But the thing is that this is only accessible through Bluetooth, and that's only Bluetooth through your phone. So you have to sync these up using the Ledger Live on your computer if you want, or you can just download the Ledger Live app, and then you can get the startup going straight from your phone pretty much, and everything is on the phone. There's nothing that you plug into the computer or anything like that. You can still sync the accounts up to where you can see what you have stored on the Ledger Nano S and just look at it from your phone, or you can sync it up to where if you're on your computer, you can see what you have on your X and just check on it there as well. But in order to send and receive, all of this is done through the phone with the Ledger Nano X. None of it's done on the computer at all. So if you're more on your phone, or I would say this is probably more if you travel a lot, right? If you're on the go and traveling a lot, then this is the Ledger Nano X is probably for you. But if you're just looking for that cold storage hardware wallet that's super hard to get your crypto out of because you have to update apps and do all this crazy stuff, then Ledger Nano S maybe. The Trezor is just kind of an easy workaround with the most part, but also kind of one of those things that they have run into a few issues here in the past, and there's not a lot of updates being sent out to it, but it does what it needs to do, and I think the people are just, or the Trezor company is just satisfied with what it has and what it does for the crypto community, and just kind of leaving it as that, right? But yeah, I mean, I tend to use mostly the S, just cold storage or whatever, but then I noticed myself coming back and forth to these, especially with just like the ease of this one, that I don't have to update it every single time. If I want a quick hardware storage place or whatever, I'll use this one. But then again, it's really preference of what is easy for you. And I didn't even get to open this one yet. Let me see. So yeah, you kind of have to just figure out what is going to be convenient for you. But if I was to say one thing, I would say that, and the box for this one is super nice. It's like, it almost reminds me of just like an iPhone box for the most part. Some nice paperwork here as well to get started. They just took their time with this one. It is a little bit more expensive for the most part. I think the X is going for like $100 or $120 right now. But like I really just wanted to try them all out, to be honest, and see what I thought of them. And I like the X. I like the X a lot, and I think it's a good buy if you're interested. You definitely want to go straight through the manufacturer website, right? And probably not through eBay at all, or Amazon. So straight through the manufacturer is the best way to do it. And yeah, so I think the Trezor is probably about $60. I'm not 100% sure, and I think this Ledger Nano S is going for about 60 or something. But for 120, I feel like, okay, well, the X, does what it needs to do too. Why not just, have that less? This is like the least hassle is the X. And then if I was to say, okay, well, I want something that I don't want to have to access through my phone, then probably this one. And then the Ledger Nano S, it's kind of clunky the way it kind of works. But it's clunky, but it's probably the most secure, to be honest. I don't think Ledger has ever had any issues with people being able to hack into their systems or whatever, or into their cold storage wallets. I do know that Trezor ran into some issues a while back, but I think they've gotten everything fixed with it now, and I think that they patched it through a software patch update. So be sure to update your devices if you are storing crypto on them, and that'll help you stay safe out there as well. So I want to thank y'all again for coming back to the channel. Y'all got the hand reveal, there. The model hands review there, and sorry, review, I meant reveal. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting carried away. It's late right now. Crypto's up about like 7,500. But I've been telling y'all that I think it's gonna come back down. So we'll see what happens there. And yeah, I hope that y'all have a great one. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what hardware wallet you would rather have out of all of these, or if there's another brand out there that I should check out as well. But these are the main ones that I've gone to. And y'all can share this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll speak with y'all soon. CTO out.